Oh, okay. Well, that's a long story. I'm from Savannah originally. I grew up there. I did my undergraduate master's degree there, and then I went to do a PhD in history at Mississippi State University, which is where I met my wife, who at the time was not my wife, and I helped her move here. She's taken a job and never really left. It's been 9 years, so we've set down roots. We've got kids here now, and got married, obviously. So long and short of it is, we've been here almost long enough to be officially Spartanburg. Well, I started on staff July of last year. I was actually a board member before that. So I've been about a year and a half now as the executive director. The market concentrates on locally grown, or what they call a producer-only market. So you have to grow it to sell it here. So it's all local seasonal items. So you won't find bananas or mangoes or anything like that, but you will find, this time of year, you'll find a lot of greens, sweet potatoes, turnips, and things like that. But we're getting to where we're going to be a year-round market. So it's all seasonal, it's all local. Grow it here in upstate that you can sell. This facility is separate from us, actually, and they will offer a broader range of items for the north side. But we work in tandem to help them find materials. As an organization, we started out well over 10 years ago as Spartanburg Nutrition Council. Our goal was to create, we're part, there's two components sort of to this type of an organization. There's healthy eating and active living. So we're the healthy eating organization, Spartanburg. Partners for Active Living does the active living component. And we both grew out of funding from the Mary Black Foundation. 2006 is sort of a way to improve access to healthy food. We started a small farmers market, which has now grown to be 9 months out of the year. By 2016, it'll be a 12-month market. And so we've been doing it as a farmers market. We're finishing our 9th year. In 2008, we changed the name to Hub City Farmers Market. The demographic's pretty interesting. The clientele is overwhelmingly female. Probably 3/4 of our shoppers are women. And I would say half of them are 25 to 44 age. We're probably 70% Caucasian, 25% African American, and 5% everybody else. It's kind of hard to tell at times. It actually seems to break down pretty similarly to the way the farmers fall. So the one group that we don't really engage in the community that we need to work on next year is Latino, or the Latino presence in the market. So that'll be a big goal for us. But we're probably 1/4 to 1/3 African American, and the rest pretty much is That's a really good question. Kind of a surprising answer for you is we've gone out and comp shopped grocery stores in the past, particularly because we have a mobile market that goes out in the community and sells. And there's a perception that the farmers market is higher. The farmers market is actually a lot of times cheaper than going to the grocer. But what you'll find at a grocery store is no two grocery stores are alike. So when we went to Publix in high season, we've got, say, blueberries there. They may sell a pint of blueberries for one price, and then you get a food line, and it's a 9-ounce package of blueberries with a fairly cheaper price, but then you break it out per ounce. It doesn't make sense. One may end up being a lot cheaper to buy the 16-ounce. Or, for instance, if you pay attention when you go to the grocery store, how are they bundling products? Are they buying, are they selling by the pound? Are they selling by the item? Are they selling 2 items for a certain price? And when you start looking at that, it makes it very challenging to figure out where are the values. And it's done on purpose, and it's done to kind of keep you confused so you don't think too much about it. So the long and short of it is we are very complex to grocery stores. Some things you may pay a little bit more on. What you'll find here is almost everybody grows organically. And because the person who's selling you the product is the guy who farms it or the lady who farms it, you can ask them, how do you grow this? Do you use pesticides? Do you use fertilizer? Do you use, is everything done organically but you just don't certify? And you can get answers to those questions. And you'll find that most of what our vendors sell is organically grown produce that is, in a lot of cases, cheaper than the grocery store. But we don't offer you a conventional alternative. So the conventional price it may be a little bit higher. It kind of splits the difference. But if you want healthy food, it's a much better value. The other thing that's really important to realize is that there's all sorts of market data out there, and I don't know how accurate any of it is, but the average distance that is estimated that the produce travels to get to your grocery is about 1,500 miles. So you got to figure it comes from the farm, it goes to a broker or a distributor, then it gets on a rail car, it travels in a refrigerated rail car, and it goes to another distributor, or it goes to a big box storage distribution facility, then it gets to the store. So you're going to get produce in our market that has just been picked versus something that may be a week or two old by the time you get it. It's been refrigerated. A lot of times it just absolutely kill the taste of an item. So you're going to get much more flavorful food here, and a lot of times you're going to get better nutrient dense food. And then the last thing is you're going to get a better variety here. Because what's on the supermarket shelf is there for a reason, and that is shelf life. Because there's so much spoilage in the supermarket business, they pick varieties of foods that are going to last longer. It may not be the best tasting or the most nutritious, but it's going to last the longest on their shelf. So they have the best chance of selling it. And that's a perfectly legitimate business choice. But with us, because everything is fresh and fresh picked, you won't run into that. So you're going to get 25 varieties of tomatoes in tomato season. You're going to get different varieties of apples that you won't find in a grocery store. It's pretty interesting. The choices here are a lot broader than in a grocery. For us, our major funder has always been the Mary Black Foundation. They are a great supporter of ours, but we do get funding also from the United Way of Piedmont, primarily through our SNAP matching program. We get funding from the small amount of funding from the city of Spartanburg, not a lot. We do get funding from the Spartanburg Regional Foundation, and then we rely a lot on individual donors. So we have a pretty wide base of places. We draw on USDA grants when we can. We draw on state agriculture grants when we can. We really go wherever we can, where there's money available. We will try to go there. And that's sort of the nature of being a 501c3. But the city does support us a little bit of financing, but they support us more with a lot of promotion about what we do. They really make sure that we get the word out about us, because they understand we drive a lot of people to the market, into the downtown area, the north side, wherever we are. We bring people. So we're good for other businesses as well. We're always looking for sponsors. I think the city, they've embraced it more and more as we've gone along and seen this as a real asset. We were really lucky that you got other areas where either you have a state agriculture runs the farmers market, or a municipality does, like in Greenville or Charleston. So in places like that, where the municipal government runs it, they really run it as a way of driving the tourist business. So they're not as interested in the healthy eating aspects that we are. So we, as an individually operated 501c3, we can do a lot of things that other places can't. So we work a lot with taking farmers and putting them with, say, chefs and food buyers, so they got a market to grow more produce. We see that as a key to keeping a diverse economy in our county. But also, it's good for everybody. It helps small restaurants grow. It helps small farmers grow. We are also really, really passionate, very active in going after SNAP and food stamps, because 12 years ago, they went to the debit card system and knocked all the farmers markets out of the system. And only today, it's only about 60% of farmers markets accept food stamps. So it's $61 million a year in Spartanburg County alone in food stamps. So we need to get a part of that. It's good for the local economy to do that, but it's also better at eating. Almost every one of our SNAP users are families. It's a parent or a grandparent buying for kids. So if we want them to eat better, they need to come to the market. They're going to have to get really good, healthy food choices there.
This is not quite up and running. It's just about to be ready. And it'll do hydroponic lettuce there, as well as we'll do our starters crops in here. And probably do a little bit of growing in there to sell as well. What we grow here either goes on our mobile market or goes to the Monarch Cafe food store.
What I love about the farmers market, I love seeing the community come together to support local small businesses for one thing.
See, I
also
didn't
love
coach
that-
him on that either.
Do what?
I didn't coach you on that either. I just told him about the same thing.
Oh, really? But I also love the fact that we're able to grow our farmers. I'm sure he's already said that we pushed them this year, showed them that the demand is there, and a lot of them are doing season extension and getting up and going. I also like our SNAP program because it's really benefiting the community. We're on pace to set a record for us, for SNAP sales this year.
First thing I want to make sure people know there is a market. We live in a little bubble sometimes, and we think we do great things because we do see a lot of people in the market. But I'm always amazed and humbled when I go out in public and I go to a Rotary meeting or a Sertoma meeting and I get a speech on. People go, "Gosh, I didn't even know there was a market." And I don't know how many Wofford students I've met over the years who are finishing their senior year just discovering us. And so the main thing is, I tell everybody, just come to the market one week. You don't have to spend any money. Just walk around and check it out. It's a great place to meet the community. If you like kids, that's the coolest thing to me about the market is the number of young kids that are out playing and having a good time. It is a real community place. It gives you a real sense of what this community is about.